Or evening, folks. Welcome to the Scottish Football Show.
Evening all. If Alex would stop kicking me out of the stream where I'm trying to come in, would be fine. Evening, everybody, and welcome along to the Scottish Football Show. Of course, in association with the Rangers Rabble podcast, where we will go through all things Scottish football, the top flight this weekend. It's really an action-packed weekend. I suppose it was. There was some things you can see there from the headlines that we've given the title. Aberdeen's winless run obviously continuing on. Moult with an unbelievable overhead kick. All things that we will touch on as the show goes on. And with me tonight, as always, to discuss everything, we have Alex. Alex, how are we? Some shift you're pulling the day.
I know, mate, as Aaron says in the comments, 3 shows, mate, back to back to back. But listen, we're all good. Got sports scene. Usually we come on and it's like, oh, there's been a couple of goals. To be fair, there was quite a few goals this weekend, so there's a lot to talk about, which is quite good. But before we talk about it, that Louis Moult stunner, wow, just what a goal. That's a great one to talk about when we get to it, because that was a great game, to be fair, and it needed something special to get the winner, and it certainly did.
Yeah, it did. And listen, all in due time, all in due course, we will get there. But first, we begin this evening at Easter Road. Hibs against Motherwell. For me, I think this, alongside Aberdeen Hearts, probably the standout ties this weekend. The ones that you looked at and thought, yeah, potential for a good game there. Unpredictable result. Two teams in similar veins of form. Hibs and Motherwell, you have to say. Hibs have turned it around big time in recently under David Gray, who has been under massive pressure in the early part of the season, but has now seen his side win, I think, 7 from the last 8 games, which is quite an astonishing record there. But Alex, this one really hinged on 2 factors here. Hibs being clinical, but Motherwell being very wasteful and shooting himself in the foot, you have to say. There's 2 goals in 3 minutes for Hibs in this one. The first one coming from Martin Boyle. Jordan Obita has the ball just at the edge of the box. He fires a ball in just across the face of the 6-yard box. Martin Boyle, the only man to react to this and actually run in to get on the end of it, does so and taps it home. Basically, as easy a goal as they'll ever get in that position, you'd have to say, Alex. But I mean, good alertness from Martin Boyle, a good finish. But from a Motherwell point of view, Stuart Kettlewell must be absolutely ripping his head out, because not one of his defenders reacted at all.
Yeah, I mean, see, to be fair, Martin Boyle started the chance. He had the initial shot, and the ball then went out wide, and it was whipped in by, was it Obita whipped it in? We've got to say, great low cross from Obita to find Martin Boyle. But out of all the games of the weekend, I don't think you're getting an easier goal, in all honesty. Martin Boyle just had to tap it in. Fair enough, I'm getting more screen time. There you go. But no, it was such an easy finish for Martin Boyle. There's no way he's missing that unless he blazes it over the bar, because one, the goalkeeper's not reacted to it, and neither was his defenders. They all sat and ball watched. They waited on Obita putting a ball in the air, and the fact that Boyle just slid it in along the ground just showed that Motherwell going to show a bit of intent. Hibs, we're going to show a bit of intent against Motherwell and get some goals today, and they did. You've got to say, though, some poor defending from Motherwell to give 2 goals in 3 minutes.
And listen, I'm sure Motherwell would be delighted to have Martin Boyle in their ranks, to be fair, but well, now he is very much a Hibernian player. Aaron Taylor there, yeah, it's a good point for you, Aaron, actually, Alex. Martin Boyle just doing what a striker should do. Absolutely right. He reacts to the situation, he reads the play very well, gets himself into that area, and it's brilliant. But Alex, as I say, 2 goals in 3 minutes. The second comes from Nectarios Triantis, I think that's how you say it. We'll just call him Nico for ease. But Triantis getting the second for him. Again, Alex, I have to question what Motherwell are doing here, because it's, for me, what the pass out to Ewan Wilson from the goalkeeper isn't the best pass in the world. I will grant you that. It's not. It's quite a rushed, hurried pass.
Yep.
But Ewan Wilson is facing the ball. If he just stands he can take the ball in if he just stands where he is, take the ball in, and then maybe manoeuvre it and try and put it up the park. But he doesn't do that, Alex. He turns and allows the ball to keep rolling and keep going. And by the time he's turned, it's too far in front of him for him to get back on the end of it again. Viantis, to be fair, again, much like Boyle for the first one, he's alert, he's sharp, he's on the ball, gets onto it, drives into the area brilliantly, and then it's a great finish into the bottom corner, Alex.
Great bit of pace from Triantis, though. He was alert to get the ball, and he shows that he wasn't going to let the defender make up for his mistakes. In all fairness, because Triantis was on him. Not an easy finish, to be fair, because there was a couple of defenders closing him down. So not an easy finish, but he hit it low and hard across the goal. Hard for a goalkeeper to get to it. And fair play to Triantis, because he just gave the defenders a torrid time to get that goal. And what a finish it was. You did think, though, when they got that goal, that, like the game today, it was going to be time for Hibs to push on and get a couple more, because Motherwell just looked like 6s and 7s. They didn't know what was going on. They were struggling to defend. And I think it was at that point that McGinn went off and Dan Casey had to come on as well. So I think you thought when Casey came on, they were going to shoot up the defence a wee bit, because he has been a bit of a rock for them at the back. But it just wasn't the way.
No, it certainly wasn't. And I mean, Alex, to be fair to Motherwell, I mean, listen, as we say, Stuart Kettlewell won't be happy with the defending that his side showed in that game throughout it. It was really, really poor, and particularly goals like that, because it's schoolboy errors. You have to do better, and he himself will recognise that. But there was a glimmer of hope for Motherwell. They were a bit better in the second half. They did ask a few questions of Hibs defensively, created one or two issues, and then got themselves a free kick with about 15 minutes left on the clock. No debate about it being a free kick, I think, Alex. I think it was a stonewaller.
When I first thought it, I thought they were going to give the free kick for the handball, but I think when you see the kick right across the stomach, there's absolutely no debating that was a free kick. I don't think he's done anything to play the ball. He's gone for the rib cage more than anything.
The handball would have been harsh, to be fair. If they'd given it for the handball, that would have been very harsh.
To be fair, though, before you come on to the free kick, Tony Watt did squander quite a few opportunities. He had 2 or 3 headers, free headers, I might add, that if get on target, they're gonna trouble the goalkeeper. But he just kept putting them over the bar, and I thought that was just going to be the story of Motherwell's afternoon, because they couldn't finish it until Slattery stepped up for this free kick.
Well, that was exactly it. Yeah, and you're right. It was wasteful. You've got to say, Tony Watt, brought back into Motherwell with a view to trying to score some goals, because when he left and went to Dundee United that season, they got relegated, and then he did help them get up for the Championship. But he's had spells at St Mirren that didn't really work either. He's one of those players, Tony Watt, he can't seem to find that place that suits him. And perhaps that inconsistency is partly why. But as you say, Callum Slattery steps up to take the free kick, but 20 yards to go, I think I'd say. And it's a brilliant finish. He catches it well into the bottom corner. I suppose, I think it's a great free kick, but do you feel perhaps could the goalkeeper's positioning have been slightly better? Because it didn't have a lot of power on it. It was just the accuracy more than the power, I think, that beat the keeper, because it went into the corner.
In all honesty, see, when I watched it, I thought the goalkeeper had unsighted himself by his own wall. I think the way he's positioned his wall, he's unsighted himself, which is basically offered the full corner, because that's, when you watch it back, Slattery's got the full corner to aim for. He's got, the goalkeeper's not focusing on that. He thinks he's going to try and go over the wall, or at least towards him. And the way that he's positioned his wall, Slattery's hit a low, hard free kick into the corner. And what a great free kick, though. Just pure accuracy. Wasn't missing. And into the bottom. And you think, game on, Motherwell are now going to pull the finger out, and Kettlewell's side's going to get a draw out of this game.
Yes, you very much think so, Alex. But talk about shooting yourself in the foot big time. I mean, dear me, they've got themselves into a position where they've not played brilliantly. They've been wasteful in attack. Defensively, they've been very sus the whole game. But they're back within a goal. 15 minutes to go. every chance of getting back into it. And what happens 5 minutes later, in the 81st minute, Hibs get a free kick. Fair enough. It's played into the box. Stephen O'Donnell, what are you doing? There's a sort of coming together between him and Miller, and he just pulls him to the ground, Alex. And you can tell with his reaction, O'Donnell, he's fuming with himself. He knows.
Yeah.
And the annoying thing is when you see the free kick, it wasn't a good free kick at all. It was going straight into the keeper's hands. So he did not have to do anything. Right,
he didn't even have to move. In all honesty, Stephen O'Donnell didn't even need to get near Martin Boyle. Stay where he is. Doesn't need to make an inch of movement. And yet, all he does is he takes down Martin Boyle and he gives the referee no option. You will say, though, that he is absolutely fuming. You can see by his own reaction. He's walking away, giving himself a right good talking to, because he's basically cost his team any momentum they had going into that last 10 minutes. Because you think Motherwell, after they get the free kick, they looked like they were getting a bit of momentum. They were trying to get back into it. And then O'Donnell goes and costs them the game with giving a penalty away. And Martin Boyle, no even any thought about it. He just hits it low and hard. He hits it right at the goalkeeper. Goalkeeper dives straight down the middle, and it's 1-0. Yeah, 1-0, 3-1.
3-1.
But
yeah, what a goal, great goal. There's a question for you, Alex, for JD on the point of Tony Watt.
I think he's a championship player, to be honest with you. He's not really hitting goals in the Premier League. You've seen that. He's not really got many goals for many clubs. He's become a journeyman, very much so in the SPL. And I think maybe the championship is best for him. The issue is that he's going to go to a championship club like Dundee United when they're in a championship. If his goals are enough to get him back up, he then has to but he's going to move club again, Connor, to get back to a championship team when he's going to shine, which is obviously an issue because you don't want to be bouncing about clubs for that sake, but you don't want to go to a club that's never going to get out the championship either, just to get a bit of success in front of goal.
Yeah, I mean, well, he's bounced about a few, over the piece. But Alex, at this point, game probably over for Motherwell. Although, with 10 minutes to go, they might have felt they can get a goal. It helps, and they were pushing. They didn't give up on it entirely. They were pushing, trying to find a goal back, and it's from one of those attacks that the final major talking point of the game occurs, because the ball sort of in the air in the box. It gets cleared by the Hibs defence. Martin Boyle latches onto it. He's steamrolling up the park for a counter-attack, as you'd expect, because he's got good pace on him. Yeah. And then Jack Vale makes the challenge. He wipes out Martin Boyle. But I've got to be honest with you, Alex, for me, I'm sitting there thinking, yeah, that's a booking, because it's a cynical challenge. He's not the last defender. It's not endangering the safety of an opponent. It's not reckless or out of control. It is a professional foul, as they used to call it. And for some reason, Colin Stephen pulls out a straight red card. VAR obviously backed him up because they didn't rescind it. I mean, that looked incredibly harsh to me.
Honestly, I think it's completely the wrong call, Connor. I don't think it's a red card at all. Yes, it's a cynical foul, but as you say, it's a professional foul. Any player's going to make that tackle. You don't want to go another goal down when you're chasing a game like that. But you make that challenge. Every defender, every player on that part makes that challenge. But there's a man in front of him covering. He's a couple of yards in front of Boyle. So if Vale misses the challenge for whatever, and Boyle keeps going on, there's another defender to put in a challenge who will probably do the exact same challenge as Vale, by the way, and probably get the red card because he's the last man. But the fact that he's pulled the card out and given a straight red is ludicrous. And I think Kettlewell probably will appeal that because it's not a red card.
I would appeal that all day long, yeah. Because it's just a professional foul, as you say. I mean, 100%. He sides, and it's only I could get if he was high or something, right? And he was, but he wasn't. And look at the reaction of the players. Martin Boyle isn't gesturing for him to be sent off. Jack Vale is just sort of turning away like, okay, whatever. He's not expecting it already. He knew the yellow's coming. He's going, right, okay, I'll take the yellow. And then he's as surprised as anybody else when the red comes out, and you're thinking, why? I mean, thankfully, it didn't impact the result of the game because the game was gone for Motherwell by that point. But it's another one of those really, really harsh red cards. And, we'll come on to very shortly in another game, an incident of denial of goals for an opportunity that I feel could have been a red card, certainly more of a red card than what this was. So, Alex, I mean, Hibs, for them, their good vein of form continues. That they're up now in the top 6 for the first time this season. 2 points above St Mirren, just 2 points behind Motherwell, 6 points behind Aberdeen in 4th. So they're back in that battle again for the European places. And I mean, all credit to David Gray for turning it around so drastically.
I mean, let's be honest. Me, you, and a couple of other guys were the biggest cynic of David Gray. We said that he was going to be the first manager sacked. It turned out it was Craig Levein, but we said he'd be up there. It'd be Levein, Naismith, and David Gray would be the men on the chopping block. And all credit to him, David Gray has done a great job at this stage of the season. The fact that he's did you say it was 7 out of 8 that Hibs have now won?
I believe so, yes.
And they just look like they've had a great run of form, and it doesn't look like they're showing any signs of slowing down. Don't think they've done too much in terms of the transfer, but right now, do they really need it? Because they're actually flying. They've got Martin Boyle firing all cylinders. He's scoring for fun right now, and that's what they need. Players like Triantis as well to keep going. And realistically, you can see right now Hibs finishing top 4 because the teams above them aren't in the greatest of form, and you probably could see Hibs getting up there. And what a shock that is from the start of the season when they were rooted to the bottom of the table, and now we're saying they're going to push for top 4.
Well, yeah. I mean, the first Edinburgh Derby of the season, it was a match between the bottom 2, and now all of a sudden, Hibs really have pulled themselves out of that. And to be fair, you fancied Hearts to be doing what Hibs have done. But, I hadn't seen that, though. It is all very tight. I mean, even if you look down as far as Hearts, they're only actually 5 points off that top 6 themselves. So, it's, I think, between 11th and 5th in the league, there's 7 points. That's all that separates. So, it has tightened up. But we move on to the team who now occupy a bit of a cushion in 3rd place, Dundee United. They paid a visit to Paisley to take on St Mirren. Not a classic by any stretch of the imagination. This, Jim Goodwin himself did say that, as a footballing spectacle, the match probably wasn't great from either side. However, there was a few incidents to nip our teeth into.
To be fair, before we go on, I think that's a bit harsh from Jim Goodwin, because see, when you actually watched the game, it was very end-to-end, Connor. Bar there being any goals, it was quite end-to-end, to be fair. Both teams had more than enough opportunities to get the winner, to get even a goal. A lot of wasted opportunities as well, as we'll come on to when we talk about it. But in terms of football and spectacle, I thought it was a very good game, very end-to-end. Both teams left it out on the park. They went for it. Just so happened to be that it was a 1-0 in the end.
Yeah, well, and a man I want to touch on, first of all, is Olisanya for St Mirren. Not his day at the office, Alex. He had big moments in this game, a penalty which we'll come on to later on, but some big chances before that he has to take. I think there's one he has in the first half where the keeper saves it but sort of spills it, and then it's laid back into his path, and you just think, with the keeper out of position again, it's blocked, but he's got to score it really.
On another day, that's a hat trick for Olisanya. I'll tell him what a performance, because he didn't just have one opportunity; he had 3 opportunities in that game, and he just could not take them. Now, the first one you could say is maybe a bit unsighted. There's a block in there, but the second and third one, Connor, he's got absolutely no excuse. We'll come on and talk about them a little bit later on, but he's got absolutely no excuse. And if you're Jim Goodwin, you're raging, to be fair, that your man's gone and done that, because that's 3 points.
Stephen Robinson, I think you mean.
Jim
Goodwin would have been delighted with Olisanya's performance because he didn't score. There were some big chances, Alex, and you just, You wonder if he has his point of view, you know, when you look at that chance we spoke about there, then he has another one before the penalty kick, obviously. What he must just be scratching your thinking, it's not my day. And then you question maybe, should he be taking the penalty kick given the afternoon he'd had to that point, but we'll get on to that. An incident that did occur in the first half of the game, Alex, Declan Gallagher seemingly just blocking off Greg Kiltie as he was trying to run into the box. It was a loose ball. Nobody was on the ball, and it was to walk back towards the goalkeeper. Kiltie chasing it down, and I don't know that he so much runs into Gallagher, because Gallagher, you see, has a look up, sees Kiltie, and directly steps into him to stop him. Now, the ball is more, it's highly unlikely that Kiltie's going to get the ball, right? But are you surprised that there was no action taken at all from David Dickinson on that situation? Because it's a clear block, it's a cynical block, and you could argue a case for a red card there. Me personally, I think a yellow card and probably a free kick, actually, because the ball was still in play. It hadn't yet got to the keeper, would have been appropriate.
I think Declan Gallagher is a lucky man, because if you actually look at David Dickinson's reaction, he actually takes more action on Greg Kiltie, and he has more of a word with Kiltie after the incident when it should have been, probably in my opinion, a yellow card and a free kick to St Mirren, because he's seen it, he looks at him, sees him coming, notices that the ball's not fully with the goalkeeper, steps in his way and just stands there, and obviously commits the foul, but the referee didn't see it that way. But yeah, I think a yellow card and a free kick's probably the fairest one, but Greg Kiltie does get the brunt of the talking to by the referee. The referee wasn't having it, that he was arguing his case. But I don't think it had much of an impact, to be fair, Connor. I think a red card would have been very harsh, but there was a check on it from VAR, but I don't think it would have been the appropriate action.
No, I totally agree. I think a booking and a free kick would have been the correct decision there. The fact that he didn't do anything, David Dickinson, and actually spoke to Kiltie more than Gallagher, is a bit bizarre to me, because it's clear that Gallagher stepped in, and the assistant ref said as well. And there's no bodies in the way. It's clear, you can see what happened. So yeah, he definitely got away with one, I think you'd have to say. A moment of brilliance ultimately decided this one, Alex. For all we talk about Olisanya and his wasteful spell in front of goals in that game, Louis Moult, a man who Stephen Robinson will be familiar with, because I'm sure they crossed paths when he first came into Motherwell years ago. And what a goal this is, Alex. I mean, it's a decent throw in, almost in that sort of Rory Delap style, big long throw into the box. It falls at Moult, who just, takes it down, flicks it up, and then, the overhead kick. It is an audacious effort to produce that. But, I mean, I think we've seen a clear candidate for goal of the season already.
Oh, Louis Moult, take a bow. I think when you look at the throw and you thought, right, because it was dropping short, it was dropping to Louis Moult, you think, right, nothing's going to come of this. And the fact that Louis Moult, one, was able to control it, flick it up, had enough time to flick it up for himself, and then hit it with a bicycle kick. It was just wow. And I think you're probably right, Connor. I think it's going to take something very, very special to beat that for goal of the season, because if you're a Motherwell defender, a St Mirren defender, you've just got to stand and watch, because they were nowhere near him, and even the goalkeeper just watched it go over his head.
Yeah, he did, and it's it's a skill. I think if I had done that, I'd probably still be on the ground right now. I don't think I'd get back up with that kind of attempt, But yeah, fair play to Moult. Tremendous for him, and a goal worthy of winning any game of football. So you can't have too many complaints about that. No. However, it very nearly didn't win the game of football, because, as we previously mentioned, St Mirren get a massive chance to level up right at the death of the game, just a couple of minutes after that goal.
Yep.
Olisanya gets in the box. He sort of turns Kevin Holt this way and that way as he cuts back in. Holt looks to have caught Olisanya. David Dickinson points to the penalty spot. VAR obviously uphold the decision. Firstly, was the penalty the right call for you? Because I'm looking at it going, I don't know if there was contact there or not. It looked like Olasanya had made the decision he was going to go down before the movements made by Kevin Holt.
He looked like he was going down from Econ on his, like, I think it was the second twist when he's tried to twist back towards the byline, and he kind of just throws himself down. It looks like there was maybe a foot in there by Kevin Holt, but for me, if there's contact, it's very minimal. It's not enough to send him down the way he went down. So I don't think it was a penalty, but you can say in a kind of a sort of way, justice was served a wee bit by Olasanya then missing the penalty. But going back to what we spoke about earlier on, I don't think Olasanya should have been the man to take it. He's obviously missed a few opportunities. He's probably not in the right headspace at that point because he's not got the goal. You probably think as an attacker, get the goal and that'll give you that bit of confidence. But in all honesty, I think he's probably cost his team a point.
Yeah,
there was other people that could have taken the penalty, and he just didn't look, because when he looked up to take it, he didn't look confident at all when he stepped up to take it.
Well, he's got Mark O'Hara in the park, who's got a record of scoring penalties for some of them in big games. Done it at Parkhead. He's done it a number of times for him. Last year, he was basically the penalty taker, and for some reason, he's not the one that takes it. I know Olasanya's your striker, but he's not had the greatest of games, and so why put that pressure on him? Just allow somebody else to take that. And to be fair, Mark O'Hara is the captain. He should be taking charge of the situation in his own right and saying, "Listen, I'm having this." So it's poor all round. As is, St Mirren find himself losing the game. As a result, they have now dropped out of the top six by a couple of points, back into seventh for them. Alex, since they beat Rangers, it's now 4 games without a goal or a win for St Mirren.
Where's the form gone?
Where's that gone? Because that performance they put in against Rangers looked like a team, and even prior to that, in the couple of games they had won in the lead up, they'd already won 3 in a row before it. They looked like a team who were motoring, and then it's like they've had the higher beating Rangers, and then it's just all went downhill for there. And they need to find a way of digging results back out again.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but they've not lost that many players through injury either. They had pretty much full strength out there. Obviously, Olasanya came off the bench, but Mandaron looked like he should have had a few goals as well today, and they just couldn't get it. And I think St Mirren have got some very big questions to ask of how they're going to turn this around, because a winless in 4 and to not score a goal, Connor, is going to be some big questions asked, because you wonder where that's gone. Because they don't look like they're incapable of scoring. That's the thing. When you watched it today, they didn't look like they were incapable of scoring. They just had some poor efforts in front of goal, but they were getting themselves in the right positions, getting the right players for taking the chances, just they were not taking them. And you wonder what's going to have to change to get them back on winning ways.
You do. You do wonder what's going to have to change for them. But the flip side of that, Alex, Dundee United, what a season they're having. Newly promoted for the Championship. They've been fairly consistent throughout. A bit of a slow start. They had a couple of wobbles early on, some dramatic games with a few bad misses and stuff, but they've picked up their form, and not only have they caught up with Aberdeen, but overtook them into third. They've got a wee gap there. It's only 2 points, but it's a wee gap. And they'll feel, knowing that Aberdeen are coming to Ibrox on Wednesday, that they can extend the lead at the top of in third place, because Aberdeen, obviously, it's a game in hand they've got, but after that, it's Rangers at Tannadice that will be next up for them in the league, because obviously it's the Scottish Cup next weekend.
No, definitely, and I think usually I'm not going to say this is all the time, but usually when you see a team get promoted up from the Championship, they have a bit of a stumble, Connor, in their first season. They don't always look like they're going to be the greatest, but for Dundee United, they're just trucking on with results right now. They're not really looking like a team that's struggling after just coming up from the Championship, sitting third, scoring goals. Yeah, they're not conceding that many either. 10 wins, 7 draws, only 6 losses as well. So they've got that at third place, but it's going to be an interesting couple of weeks to see if they can actually keep it going, because Aberdeen have got a game in hand, and then they've got some tough games, but obviously after the Scottish Cup. Aberdeen have got St Mirren, so that's another game they need to watch. So it'll be interesting to see how we get on, because it's quite tight, as you're saying. There's only a couple of points that separate 11th to 3rd. What is it? 13 points. So it's not actually that big a gap, but I think we'll wait and see what happens. But there's some other games that we can talk about when we get to it. I think we're going to go to what game we're going to next?
So, yeah, absolutely. Next up, then, a very frosty-looking Dingwall, it has to be said. The conditions did not look great. I'm amazed this game went ahead, to be honest with you, because I'm looking at that pitch going, that must have been a kick in the arse after being a frozen pitch. Because it looked...
must have needed the wind blows out to get the lines done again, because the lines just looked like they were apart from the snow. It did not look good at all. And I'm very, very surprised, because when you look at the penalty spot in both halves, there's hardly a blade of grass there, Connor.
Exactly. It was really rough conditions, both sides obviously having to contend with. I know the typical thing to say, and Brendan Moses nearly slipped up and said it, but he did say both sides of the contend with, is to always suggest that only one team has to play, as if that's what it's like in Dingwall every week, and it isn't. Clearly, it's a smaller pitch, but it's not that bad normally. But as we get to this one, listen, both sides had good chances in the first half, I felt. I felt that Celtic, some good pressure for them, big moments in the game. Kyogo with a real gilt-edged chance when Ida heads it down to him in the box. He actually manages to take a touch, but he doesn't really get any purchase behind the finish, because it just sort of, he's almost passed it straight to the goalkeeper. And then, of course, who was it? The boy for Ross County, edge of the box, has a chance as well. Blazes over the crossbar. But I felt in the early going, Alex, that County did fairly well to, be competitive in the game and kind of keep Celtic at bay a little bit. But of course, that all changed when Kyogo darted in between the two centre backs to finish off a decent cross for Alistair Johnstone, and he just sort of pokes it home. But Don Cowie probably will reflect back on that one and go, how's he got in between my two centre backs so easily?
Yeah, it's a bit of lazy defending, to be fair, from Ross County. The fact that Kyogo was able to just jump in. It's a good ball from Alistair Johnstone, to be fair. He does, the way he puts it in, he swings it in, and it's obviously able to be cut out. It's scored by Kyogo. But you'd expect, though, the way he's put that in to be cut out was what I was going to say from the County defenders, because it's put right between the two of them. But they're both watching Kyogo rather than the ball. What I wanted to ask you before we got to the goal, though, Connor, should Hatate have had a penalty? Because he was brought down in the area.
Well, I was just going to come to that. Not for me. I don't think it's a penalty kick. I think it's... he's under pressure for Campbell. I think Campbell's slightly clumsy, but it looks to me like Hatate does go down a bit easily. I'm not sure that he had to really go down as he did there. So I think that one, not a penalty kick. What was your view on that one? You think it was the right call not to award it, or?
To be fair, no, I actually think it was a penalty. And I think it was a penalty because of the clumsiness of Campbell. I think Hatate does go down a little softly, but I think the clumsiness of Campbell, it wouldn't have been the wrong call to award a penalty. The way that Campbell's went in, but I think Hatate does go down a bit soft. So it's a weird one, because I don't think it's the right call to give the penalty. I don't think it would have been the wrong call to give the penalty, but I don't think it was the wrong call to not award it. Do you know that way? Like, they're both, there's obviously, because the way Campbell's went in, he's a bit clumsy, so you could have seen the ref give it, but Hatate did go down very, very cheaply to look for the penalty.
Yeah, he did. Speaking of penalty kicks, one that was absolutely not cheap, and I think was a stone wall. Excuse me, folks, while I just sneeze my lungs out there. Yes, Ross County get a penalty kick, Alex, to help level up the game for them. A great cross, you've got to say, comes into the box and then It's Johnstone at the back post. I don't. This is one, Alex, and this will be an interesting debate to have, right? Johnstone clearly just barges in at the back post and it takes Keane Phillips out, right? It's a penalty kick all day long. But I'm looking here, right, and I'm thinking to myself, this was a lengthy VAR check, this. I mean, they scoured this. They looked and they looked again. They checked the offsides. They were checking everything
Bar the foul.
to try and determine whether it was, whether they could rule out the penalty or not.
Yep.
Not so much the foul. They then award the penalty. But my question to you, Alex, is should Alistair Johnstone have been sent off for denying a clear and obvious goal scoring opportunity? Because it does look like Phillips is going to get on the end of that and head it into the back of the net if he's not taking it.
I think it is a clear, deniable goal scoring opportunity. I think the only thing that's probably saved Alistair Johnstone is the fact that he's not got the ball under control. See if he's got the ball under control or he's made contact with the ball going in the back of the net, then he's cleared out and anything happens. I think that's what probably gives the opportunity for the referee to give the red. Because he's not got the ball, I think that's probably why he escapes the red. But I think it is a denial of a goal scoring opportunity, and I think he's probably a very, very lucky boy to not be sent off for it. It's a weird call because I do think it is a red card, but only if the defender's got the ball and the attacker's got the ball under control, which he didn't.
No, but then you can argue he didn't get it under control because of the attack. What came first, the chicken or the egg, But I mean, certainly, probably, borderline, you would say. And I think Johnstone maybe could count himself slightly fortunate because another day. I'm more surprised that for all the things VAR checked, why didn't they also check a possible red card on it as well? Because surely, if you're going to check offsides, if you're going to check to try and stop it being a penalty, which they're entitled to do, they've got to make sure they get the right decision. Then you've also got to check, okay, once you've cleared that it's not offside, then it's right, is this a foul? Yes. Is this foul meriting anything other than the penalty kick? I.e., did it deny a goal scoring opportunity? That's what they should be checking. And it didn't seem like they really done that part for as lengthy as the check was.
I think he's very lucky to escape a yellow, by the way, because he didn't get booked. He didn't get a card.
Quite right, aye.
He didn't even get a card for it, so I think he is very lucky. And I do agree with Aldo's point. He is denying a clear goal scoring opportunity. It's a sending off, and I think that you have got a point when you say, Connor, that they checked everything bar the foul. They checked every angle that they could to not give Ross County a penalty, but didn't check Johnson's foul because he doesn't put a foot in. He goes in with like his forearm into his back rather than actually putting a tackle in. So he goes in with the intention of either off balancing him or just clearing him out, and he clears him out. And the referee obviously doesn't take too long to give a penalty, but to give no card is a bit of a head scratcher.
It certainly is. After that, Alex, we then see that they score equaliser from the penalty kick. Good penalty for Jordan White. Sends Casper Schmeichel the wrong way. Brilliant finish into the corner. And then County are doing well. They're holding on. They're hanging on in there. They're having one or two moments themselves. Celtic are certainly pressing. But we go into the final 10 minutes and it's still honours even. Celtic did make a few changes. They brought on Luke McCowan. They brought on John Kenny, who's a new Irish young lad that got his first game. And you think, okay, they're trying to go for this year. And, Don Cowie spoke after the game saying he didn't want it to be another nearly kind of performance, and it turned out that way.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the second goal for Celtic, to be fair, is a good goal. I mean, I thought the young keeper for Ross County, I thought had an outstanding afternoon, and I don't think he deserved to be conceding 4 goals. He produced some unbelievable saves. He has one just before the goal, in fact. That's an unbelievable save to his top corner. Alex Valley hits the shot and it's deflected, and you're thinking that's in all day long. And what a hand he gets to it. I mean, it's some superb stuff with him. And then he nearly saves this. I mean, Kyogo gets a header. It's a powerful header. Gets a hand to it, Amisa, but not enough to keep it out.
It's good. It's good play from Engels though. Engels obviously holds off his man. It's good play from Engels. He manages to turn his man. Looks like he's coming back out of the box, and he puts in a ball that looks like nobody's actually going to get on the end of it. To be fair, and then Kyogo gets a very good header onto it. Unlucky for Amisa because he gets another hand on it, and it looked like he was going to tip this one over the bar. Just unlucky that he couldn't get it over the bar because he puts it in the back of the net, but he's travelling back again like he was for the first save. But a good goal by Kyogo. Playing out of position today, obviously he was playing on the right because they were missing a couple of players and he had to play out on the right. But no, he got himself in the right place and it was a good goal.
Certainly was. But then we go into a moment of somewhat contentious decision making. I mean, this is an example of we gave them a penalty, so we need to give the other team a penalty, as I've ever seen, to be honest with you, Alex, because I'm looking at this, and the first angle I'm going, that doesn't look a penalty, I'm not sure, and then you see it back, James Brown on Yang. I don't see it as a penalty because James Brown gets in front of Yang. And yes, there's slight contact, but we know if doing the VAR review shows and the things that Willie Collins says about normal football and contact not being punished, right? Surely that constitutes normal football and contact. He's gone in to win the ball, and he does win the ball. And the ref doesn't give the penalty on field, which is a correct decision. And then VAR gets itself involved. Now, Neil McCann and Brian Graham were very strong in their opinion in this, that VAR just shouldn't have been getting involved here. And I agree with them.
I'm kind of another way, to be fair. I kind of think it was a penalty. I think that the way that James Brown puts the tackle in on Yang, I think he gets the ball first, but then with the second challenge, it kind of goes in between Yang's legs and he kind of chops down. And in the motion, he brings his leg down. He hits Yang in the knee, then gets the ball. So I think for me, it probably is a penalty. I do think there is a bit in it. We gave one team a penalty, so we have to give the other. But I think it's just very poor defending from Brown. Yeah. You can kind of see it in his face, though, because the way his face is when we are looking at it, he knows he's obviously committed the foul for me. And I do think it is a penalty corner. I'm kind of another. I do think it is. The way that he's caught him, I think it's a penalty. And I'm kind of agreeing that the referee has to award the penalty because the way the ball comes across, Yang gets it. It's in between his legs. Brown puts his leg over him, kicks him on the top of his knee, and then on the follow through gets the ball. So I think it has to be a penalty.
I can see that side of the argument. I fall in the category of, is it a clear and obvious error from the referee?
No.
Because this is the buzzword. That's where I fall in that category, because I go, that for me should be the kind of decision that, and they always talk about it, don't they, Alex, where they say, look, if the ref gives that, then VAR wouldn't overturn it, and if he doesn't give it, they're not going to intervene. That it felt like that kind of decision to me. And whilst, may well have been a penalty, I just don't know if it needed VAR intervention. But however, I
don't think the referee was in the right place to see it, though. He's not it's not a clear line of sight for the referee to see it when you look at it. And I think that's maybe why VAR's got involved, because he's not got a clear line of sight on it. Might be wrong in that one, Connor, but I think that's probably why he's got involved. I do think it is the right call. I know we're going to keep it could be one we could debate all night, but I do think it is the right call. I do think it is a penalty against Yang, just for the fact of the way that Brown goes in for the tackle. But in that scenario, VAR is reffing the game rather than the ref doing his job.
Well, this is exactly it, absolutely. And then, just when you think that the county keeper is pulled off the heroics again, Amisa, Engel steps up, hits the penalty. It's actually a good save. However, unfortunately for the young man, you see the replay back, he's about 2 yards off his line.
He's well off it.
I wish I could debate it. I wish I could say, well, technically the back of his heel's on the line. Nah, he's miles off his line. And so quite rightly, the penalty gets retook after the attacking phase of play passes. And on the retake, this time Engels makes no mistake, and does fire it home. Although Amisa guessed the right way the second time as well, and he wasn't far off getting it. But at that point, goes 3-1 to Celtic. Then game pretty much over for County. Again, to be fair to County, they still didn't give up the ghost as such. But 2 minutes later, in the 98th minute, Luke McCowan gets the goal. This one for me, probably more than the others, I'd be more critical of County on, because I think it's really poor defending. They don't deal with clearing the lines, and then when McCowan gets the ball, he's able to take a couple of touches, Alex, before finishing it. He's setting him. How can a player be setting himself 8 yards out for your goal? That cannot be allowed to happen. And maybe it's tired legs, tired minds, I don't know, but McCowan, to be fair to him, took it well and finished off the afternoon.
I think at that point, because obviously they've had the penalty, because if you look at it, Amisa makes the save initially, and then there's probably about another 2 or 3 saves after that corner where Celtic tried to scramble it in and they couldn't get it, and it was cleared, and then obviously it was retaken, Ingles puts it in. But I think it's probably at that point, County's probably just admitted defeat. In all honesty, they probably just thought, game done, let's just get the whistle blown. But because of the lengthy VAR checks, they had to keep going. So it was about 9 minutes added on in the end, because they scored at like the 98th minute with the fourth even. But I think it's poor defending, I think, because it goes across the line. It's like Yang gets it and it goes to Kyogo, it goes to Engels, and then it goes to McCowan. And then McCowan's able to set himself and slot it in. So I think it is just poor defending, but I don't think they can have any dispute about the goal. It was a good finish by Luke McCowan.
Yeah, I mean, Alex, in terms of Ross County, listen, they're far from in trouble right now. They're okay at this moment in time. I certainly feel strongly that they probably will be safe, because I think St Johnstone are going down automatically. And then I think you're looking then after that, who's going to be in that playoff area. Looking at the table, as I just check here, County currently sitting a point above Hearts in 10th place, joint with Kilmarnock, a point difference behind Dundee, 2 points behind them. I mean, they're only 4 points off top of 6, you know what I mean? So it's just one of these things they'll get, that they could get there. But I mean, you then have to say, Alex, Celtic, they're champions elect, right?
Mm-hmm. You've got to say they probably are, but you've also got to think about, there's a bit of an issue in the forward department for Celtic right now. That's 11 games now where Adam Ida hasn't got a goal. So they're one of the record signings of, 8 million for Adam Ida, and he's 11 games without a goal now. So are they going to maybe be looking to get Kyogo back in, because obviously he was on the right, missing out on Kuhn and Maeda today. So yesterday even. So you wonder if they're going to get somebody in instead of Adamida, because he's just not getting a goal. He's not working out in his second spell for them. But I think it's pretty much that they're going to get the title again, isn't it? 15 points clear at the top. A game in hand as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks ominous, certainly. You'd have to say. Okay, moving on then. We've made good headway, good timing with all these games today.
Because there's only 2 of us, so we'll just fire through it.
That wouldn't happen. That will continue in this one, because Aberdeen against Hearts at Pittodrie, Alex.
Wake me up when that one's done.
Aberdeen's winless run now stretches to 11 games. Stopped the rot of defeats, to be fair, because they were off the back of 5 defeats in a row. That's now stopped with the draw today. But still unable to find a win at this moment in time, Alex. And at home this afternoon against a team in Hearts who sit at second bottom, who are inconsistent, who don't score a lot of goals. You fancied that should have been a game Aberdeen should have been looking at to win. Unfortunately, wasn't the case. But they started brightly. They started brightly in the game. They had some good chances.
They almost scored after 30 seconds. Leighton Clarkson.
You took the words out of my mouth. I was just about to say that. I mean, what a chance that was. They could have scored. I think then you had the big centre back as well. Tobers, I think it was, sort of scooped it for a yard out. But yeah, big moments. That's kind of where they are just now, in the Aberdeen. Nothing seems to be falling for them in the right way, because they get these chances and they don't take them.
Jimmy Tilleen's got to be a worried man, because this Aberdeen side is just falling away. They started off so good at the start of the season, and I think we spoke about this last time, Connor. They've just never really recovered since that cup semi-final. They've kind of just been going downhill from there. Yeah, they've lost a few players, but how are they going to recover this? Because they looked okay today. I don't think they lit the pitch on fire by any means, because although they didn't get a goal, it looked very end to end. But it's just, how are they going to recover? Because for an Aberdeen side against second bottom, you think they'd be coming out trying to get a good couple of goals. Obviously, as we said, Leighton Clarkson almost scored in the first 30 seconds to get the corner, and it's kind of scrambled away. But surely that's the motivation to keep going. You're at home. I think they thought it was another cup final because they had the fireworks and the flares on the go, and the disco lights were on. So you wonder why they didn't get up for the atmosphere. But it just seemed a bit lacklustre for Aberdeen. Hearts obviously without Shanklin as well.
It did, yeah. Hearts obviously, as you say, without Shanklin. I mean, but I think that I don't know whether what has set in for them. Do you know what I mean? Because I don't know if is it their mentality, is it just quality, or lack of that catching up? Because you look at the games they've played and aren't winning. These are games that they won all of these games at the start of the season. Alex, they went on an unbelievable run. They beat everybody. In fact, nobody really beat them in that first round of fixtures, including Celtic, because they get a draw at Parkhead. And then you go to the second round, and all of a sudden the wheels off. I mean, I don't want to see pressure on Jimmy Tilleen, but at a club that purports to be the size of Aberdeen,
with
their expectations, surely he's going to have to start getting results soon, because if they slip further and further down the table, and we've just spoke about how tight things are, their fans won't be happy. They are expecting third spot this season, and nothing else, nothing less.
Yeah, I mean, they're obviously aiming for the European spots, but the fact that they're missing Mitov, Sockler, Papi Gay, and a few others is obviously having a massive impact on them, because I think when you look at Sockler and Gay, they were having such an impact together. Connor, Papi Gay was lighting the league on fire, to be fair, and Mitov, obviously one of the better goalkeepers in the league, but they're just not getting there at all. They've just, as they've started to fall away, they cannot accept anything less than second or third place, especially Jimmy Tilleen's position. And that's spot on. He has spent a lot of money compared to some of the other teams in the league. So you'd be thinking, for his position right now, he very much has to turn this around, Connor.
Oh, yeah, he does. He needs to desperately to turn that around. And listen, that might happen on Wednesday. I hope it doesn't, but it might.
Well, Papi Gay's due back at the end of this month, so you'd hope that he's going to come back and hit the ground running, because the goals that he had for Aberdeen this season, that was what, five games he played, Connor, 5 goals.
Yeah,
it doesn't sound like a lot, but it doesn't sound like a lot, but when he came in, he was just scoring for fun, and he was everywhere. He was quick, he was electric, he was very agile, he was able just to get in and about defenders. So I think they're very much missing that. But you just think, if he doesn't come back soon, Jimmy Tilleen's going to be a very worried man, because Aberdeen are going to be demanding success.
Yes. Oh, yeah, absolutely. In terms of Hearts, so Alex, they had the moment of the game right at the death. 4 minutes were added on for stoppage time, and you thought, yeah, this is trundling out into a fairly boring 0-0 result. And then right in the 92nd minute, Hearts get the penalty kick.
What a shot tackle, though.
Ridiculous challenge. What's he thinking there? He doesn't need to make the challenge. He's got his face facing away. If he goes, he's going absolutely nowhere.
Yeah, he's going nowhere.
I'll just barrel into the back of you, Willa, and give away a penalty. And you can see by the reaction that there was no complaints about the penalty. And the Aberdeen players were looking as if we've just fucking lost this game. How have we thrown this away?
Yep.
But Ross Doohan, dear me, what a save. I mean, talk about pulling the chestnuts out of fire and rescuing the point. It's a decent penalty for George Grant. I don't think it's the best penalty I've ever seen because it isn't
a penalty. To be fair, he doesn't.
It isn't right into the corner, but it's a good save for Doohan. He gets both hands to it, clips it onto the post, and chance gone. And Hearts will be kicking himself. That would have been a massive 3 points for them today.
Same as what we're talking about St Mirren earlier on. A penalty to death. You think that's your opportunity for Hearts to get all 3 points, and it was just for Grant. It's such a poor penalty, unbelievably poor. Obviously, Doohan gets it onto the post, but I thought Doohan had a great game. Was it Kabanga? A great save against Kabanga as well. Kabangu earlier on, and I just think that save was great. He managed to 2 hands onto the post, no opportunity for Grant to get the rebound. And to be fair, from that, Hearts went up the other end, and it was a bit of back and forth as well. But I don't think either manager is probably happy with a point in their corner.
No, I wouldn't have thought so. Not the way the game played out, and certainly Tallinn would have been desperate for the 3 points. Kitchley will sit back and go, "How do we not win that with that penalty at the end?" But yeah, honours even. Obviously, Aberdeen next up coming to Ibrox with no real show up for that one. There's no surprises there. Obviously, next week's Scottish Cup game, so no league games on. But in terms of league football, Hearts next game at home to Kilmarnock. They'll fancy that at Tynecastle, I think, especially the form Kelly are on. But okay, let's round things off, shall we? We've already spoken about this today in the podcast, so I don't even need to spend much time on it, Alex. We've kind of covered the talking points. But Rangers and Johnstone, 3-1 win for Rangers. A tale of two halves in terms of quality. First half, Rangers played at a fairly high tempo. First half an hour, he got himself into commanding position by going 3-0 up. Some good goals. I thought Cherny was a good goal, good finish. As he was sent through Igaman as well, and on the act. And then, to be fair, the Diamande goal is not one that Simo Valicari or his defenders will want to see back, because it's absolutely but it was like they'd given up after we scored the first goal. St Johnstone, they were so poor in the first half.
Yep.
But then in the second half, they got a goal back, and tempo drops a bit from Rangers, and it was quite a boring second half in the end.
No, it definitely was a boring second half in the end, and I think Simo Valicari's obviously had a good talking to his players at half time, because they came out looking the stronger team. They didn't look like the team, to be fair, Connor, that are at the bottom of the table. They came out, had a good effort, got the goal 10 minutes after the break. I think, as we spoke about in the reaction pod, I think a lot of the talk and a lot of the comments are obviously going to be on the walkout by the Union Bears at the 55th minute. And I think that's going to be obviously a big talking point. But if Rangers keep up the tempo that they have, especially from the first half, if they put that performance on, it should just be business as usual against Aberdeen at home. You'd hope, Connor, that they could just get another 3 points. But as we say, when it comes to some of the top teams in the league, they seem to step up their game quite a lot when it comes to Rangers, regardless if that's home or away. So I think for Aberdeen and Rangers, it'll be a great game on Wednesday for sure.
Certainly will be, yeah, 100%. And you know what to expect from Aberdeen. Rangers need to keep that tempo high and really press the issue, because it's not going to be easy. But in terms of St Johnstone, Alex, they're in big trouble. Big soapy bubble right now. I mean, again, as I say, that first half epitomises everything that's been wrong this season at St Johnstone. So poor, so passive. Didn't defend well at all. And okay, Simo Valicari will say, look, you can't judge us in games at Ibrox. We did, compete well, and we won the second half, which is what they'd have looked to do at that point. But they're struggling right now. I can't see them saving themselves, Alex. I think they're done. I
think when you look at the next fixtures they've got, so they've obviously got Motherwell in the Cup, then they've got Motherwell again. So they've got Motherwell on a double header, both at McDermott Park. Then they're away to St Mirren, away to Kelly, at home to Hearts, and at home to County, and then away to Dundee. So they've got some very big games coming up, Connor. And if they don't get any points out of this, that gap is just going to get bigger and bigger for St Johnstone at the bottom. And it could be an early relegation before we even think about it, because they're already, is it what, 9 points away from Hearts. So that gap could only get bigger, especially if Hearts start picking up form in county. So if you're seeing Valakari, you've got to be thinking about how are we going to get out of this rut, because right now they actually don't look like they've got anybody that's capable of getting them a couple of goals. In all honesty, Connor, I don't know if that's me being harsh, but St Johnstone don't look like they're a team that are playing with any real togetherness. To be fair, they look like they're just playing as individuals right now, and it's a bit of a shame to see.
I agree, yeah, 100%. I mean, they've flirted with the prospect of going down for a few years now, and it just looks like a step too far for them. I mean, they've only just brought Simo Valakari in this season, and he's inherited a squad for Craig Levine that just hadn't really been performing either. So, yeah, it's tough times over in Perth, but that'll do us for tonight. You've had a great shift there, so I won't get you in any further trouble with the wife or me, because she'll end up on my back, I know. But
I'll take it down for you, and you can.
Yeah. But yeah, no, that's been a pleasure, Alex. Thanks so much for joining me. The Rabble is back tomorrow afternoon at 12:30 PM for your afternoon Rabble. I'm not sure yet whether or not Martin will be in the hot seat for that. Depends how he'll be feeling. Obviously, he's ill at the moment. So we'll see. And then, of course, tomorrow night you've got a whole host of things. The women's show is back at 6 PM after their winter break layoff. Got to make sure we get a plug in for the guys. So do join them. The women's team did win 14-0 today. So a happier show for them after what was a dismal period before the winter break. And then tomorrow night you've got your Monday Night Rabble at 7:30, followed by, for the members, the EPL show, which will be an FA Cup special this week. That'll be at 9 o'clock tomorrow. So for all you members, Martin will no doubt have a schedule posted in the morning for you in the Discord. Keep an eye out for it. But plenty to keep you amused tomorrow, and of course for the remainder of the week. In terms of the Scottish Football Show, we're back in a fortnight as always. Scottish Cup week next week anyway, so that works nice for us. Do keep your eyes peeled though, because I'm expecting in the space of this next fortnight, the next SFA VAR review show to go out. Once that goes out on the SFA YouTube channel, we'll then get that looked at for you and get our review of the VAR review as it were out. So you'll probably see us in between times for that. Until then though, take care.